Hi everybody, I'm Mrs. Butler. I'm the art teacher at Jeffrey Trail Middle School, and I've been at the school since we've opened. Ms. Lepresti is with you right now. She's an amazing, phenomenal, and kind teacher, and she has been with us for a few weeks now. She's going to be with you guys for a few days. So why is she here and I'm not there right now? On Valentine's Day, I had a surgery and everything went great, but it takes a little bit of time to rebuild strength after surgery. So I just need a couple more days, do a little bit more walking, go up some more stairs, lift a few weights, but not too heavy, so that I could be at my best when I come to be with you. So thank you to Ms. Lepresti. You are in great care with her. So I want to talk to you about the art class. You guys have had Mr. Nguyen for engineering. You've had Ms. Eisman for computers. And now you get to have the Exploring Art class for the rest of the year. While you guys all know each other pretty well, I'm going to have to get to know you. So this is why I've got a seating chart for you. By the time the end of the year comes around, I'll have had about 450 to 500 students. That's a lot of names to learn, and a lot of faces, and a lot of artwork. You guys have only had a few shifts so far. You've stayed with the same class. I'm going to need to get to know you too. So work with me on this. Stay in the seating charts. Yes, we can change it later. Let's talk about it the second or third week of the trimester, okay? All right. So Ms. Lepresti is giving you some syllabus. It says Exploring Art at the top. Sorry about the copy quality. And also, you'll be working on this when we're done. My ideal art class experience. This is a survey that I want you to take. But I want to talk about what do we do in art class, how do we work, and how can you succeed? How do you get graded in art? Is everything an A and it's a kick it class? No, 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 no. Basically, the best way to get the A is to do the work and turn it in with your name on it. I'll give you little project puzzles. I want you to figure out your best way of responding to that. And with your best way, I want you to challenge yourself to do a little bit more than you've done in the past. We're not doing cookie cutter art. We're not copying from our phones or from Instagram posts or anything else. This is a place where you get to try out your ideas and make your response. Your voice gets to be heard. I know you haven't had a lot of practice doing that up until now, so it might feel a little awkward. I'm going to ask for your trust and understand that not every project's going to be awesome, but every project you will have the choice of how you do it, okay? So let's get that syllabus out. Put your name and period up at the top, and I'm going to talk you through how to succeed in the art class. All right, everybody. You've got your name and your period up on the right-hand corner. And again, I apologize for the quality of the copy, but like I said, we've got almost 500 kids. So because this quality is so miffy, I will put the slideshow to this up next to the video as we go. All right, so this is for Exploring Art, the 7th grade trimester course. I'm expecting you to doodle, to take notes, to draw academically appropriate things all over the syllabus as I am talking. All right, when I say academically appropriate, what I mean are things that you not only could be graded on, things that I could show the principal, things that I could show your mother and your grandmother, and nothing that looks anything like a body part. Y'all, it's springtime. I know exactly what you're thinking. I've been teaching for almost as long as you've been alive. Let's keep it academically appropriate. All right. So up here, 7th grade trimester course. I want you to know the most important thing that you are to learn in this class is that we are in a visual culture. We are being innovative, we're being creative, and we're building skills. Even if you have amazing skills, we're going to build them a little bit more. We're going to sharpen our minds. What we do in this class helps us to think in all our other subjects. It helps us to think outside of school, in your relationships, in life, in the choices that you make. When you think creatively, your life tends to get a million times better. And I want to help you practice that in a safe, productive environment. Okay? So we only have 13 weeks to do this. That's right. So you only have 13 weeks left of school. Spring break is the first week in April. So after that, you can take art for an entire year, or you may never take art again, maybe for a year in high school. But I want us to use this time to focus and enjoy the class. We have a lot to go over. All right, first section down here, what we will learn. We're going to learn about art. I want you, while I'm talking, to fill in, what do you think art is? If you were to make a definition of what is art, what would you tell somebody who has never heard of the word? Go ahead and write that down. Art is... Those of you trying to see my answer, can you see I'm writing gibberish? Cheaters. All right, take one more minute, wrap up your definition. What do you think art is? We're going to watch a video in just a few moments about what we think art is from a guy named McHoots, and he's an artist. We all get asked this question a lot as artists, art teachers. What is art? I don't really get it. How can that be art? And McHoots will describe that quite a bit, and he'll talk to you about it. I tend to agree with pretty much almost everything he says about what is art. So we'll come back to that in a moment. Through exploring these ideas, you're going to figure out, why is art important or relevant? Where is art found? If you have answers for these, write them down. Who makes art? Is it just weirdo French guys in berets with tiny little mustaches and little cigarettes? Or who makes art? Is it only artists? Do animals make art? Do babies make art? Who makes art? What makes any art good? How do you know if something is good? And then who gets to decide this is good? How do they decide it? How does somebody say this orange Sharpie is the best piece of art I have ever seen, but this pencil that my 7-year-old accidentally took home from 7th grade, that's not good art. This flag, it's horrible. It's not wonderful. The form is just pedestrian. It's very cliche. It's not good art. But this orange Sharpie, man, that is art. That is salt. It's amazing. So who gets to decide that? And how do they decide it? So when you're thinking about these things, this is the place. This art studio is where we take academic risks. And I'm going to present you with some ideas and images that will be age appropriate. So we're not going to be looking at nudes in art history. We're not going to be just studying art that other people have made. We're going to be looking a little bit at that, but we're going to be making, because I believe that doing is the best way to learn and retain your information. But it's also, just because I'm your teacher right now and I'm teaching you right now, doesn't mean that that's where your learning ends. You're going to be learning for the rest of your life. If I can help you feel more comfortable being creative, then that's what I want to do. So we're going to think about art, we're going to talk about art, and we're going to make art. And that is how we learn. What projects are we going to do? We're going to be doing some painting. We're going to be doing some drawing. Just a little bit. I know a lot of people are not comfortable with it. We're going to be doing a little bit of printmaking, where we carve something out, roll ink over it, and we can make many copies of the same work of art. We might do some digital art or even some CAD design. You see that 3D printer over there by my desk? We might be using that. And we'll also be doing some sort of three-dimensional sculpture project. Now, this trimester, it's going to depend on a lot. I have to be healthy and strong enough to be able to use the materials. A box of clay is 50 pounds. And right now my doctor's telling me I can't lift 50 pounds. So I'll do my best. And if you can do your best, we can work together. Maybe we'll be able to do clay. If we can't, we still do a three-dimensional project. We'll just use lighter materials, okay? This is a project-based learning course. What I need from you is to be a good listener. I want to have people who have a growth mindset. People who are not going to complain when I ask you to write 2 sentences about art. That is necessary. It is absolutely necessary to convey your ideas. I need to have proof that you got it. So let's turn the page. Up here on the left, our overall ideas is that we're going to take risks and try new ways. Creativity is our goal in this class. So that doesn't mean that we'll have all trimester to work on 3 things. My goal is to have 4 to 5 projects that you learn the skills and that you have your own ideas. This is not about perfect. This is about taking risks, which means you're going to make some mistakes, and so am I. And we're going to learn what the mistakes are telling us. Because in a lot of your other classes, there's only one right answer. In this class, there are very, very many right answers. So I want you to find your right answer and tell me what it is. The expectations for your behavior. We're going to use my favorite F word, and that's focus. So first, we focus with our eyes. We focus with our ears by listening. We focus with our minds by paying full attention to the task at hand. And we focus with our hands by not wasting time. This is a fun place to be because you're doing things differently. Let's face it, you don't get to get messy in a lot of your other classes. Not even in PE, not even after it's rained. Our learning in here looks different than in a lot of your classes. That's great. But if that means that you're not trying and doing and making and cleaning up, then you're not learning. I do expect us all to keep an eye on the time. Sometimes not only you, but I get so excited about what we're doing that I totally lose track of time. So that's why I've got a schedule up on the board of the bell, and I often use timers so that it reminds me to do what we need to do. I also expect a little bit of maturity from you guys in the way that you communicate me. When I come to class, I see you more as my co-workers because I spend more time with you in school on a day-to-day basis than I do with any other person throughout the day, and that's including the time I have awake with my family. So that kind of maturity means I expect you to communicate with me. You and I are in this together. If something's not working, if you're struggling with an idea or a skill or a concept, you have to communicate that to me. I cannot, will not read your mind. Sometimes if I'm doing something you don't like, there's no way I'm gonna know about it unless you tell me. So if you communicate, we can work together. All right? Okay, cross this part out first. We will get to that later. You're actually going to be giving your parents a little bit of homework. And I want to talk about our grading policy. It needs a little bit of explanation. So I didn't put this piece of clip art in here, and I know this isn't 50%, but draw 50% in the big wedge right there. 50% of your grading is going to be the projects that you turn in and complete. These are going to be the drawings, the paintings, the 3D sculpture things that we do, and the printmaking. If we do anything else, that will be part of a project. If we have a test, that will be under projects. 30% down here is going to be, the category is practice. Practice, yes. I haven't written in 2 weeks. Practice are things like homework. If I ever give you homework, it will go under 30% category. If I have a couple of days where I need to build your skills and we're doing practice events before the big project, it goes here under practice. So that leaves 20% here. 20% is for participation. Now we'll go over the rubric for participation points later. But in a nutshell, participation is how you work, what kind of focus are you working with, what kind of effort are you giving, and are you doing your job to clean up, because it is our privilege to use this beautiful studio. 50% projects, 30% practice, 20% participation. Now, two of these categories, actually one, If you bomb on something, and you do a really different job, not necessarily a bad job, but maybe you broke both of your arms and we're in the middle of a drawing project, so your drawing doesn't look like you wanted it to. If you feel like reworking it and you want to turn it in for higher credit later, you can do that. You can reassess your grades until you get the grade that you want within this trimester. I am not here to nitpick every single thing. I don't count down for late work. I want good work, not late work. And I want good work. So I want you to do your best. But again, we only have 13 weeks, so we do not have time for messing around. You have to be focused, listening, and stay on task. Turn your page, please. This part up here says rubrics. Every project that you get, you're going to have a rubric that looks something like this. I'll put it up in the video next to us. Now, like I said, some of your skills may be affected or impacted by my parents took me out of school, I just moved here, I've never had art before, all of these things that are not in your control. So your projects may not look the way you want them to. I'm going to give you 2 questions to reflect on the process of making your work every single time. If you do poorly here, fabulous here, you can still rework your project for higher points. And if you tell me how you did the learning, blah, 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 this can move that point over a bit. So if you will get these way before a project is due, you will know exactly what I'm looking for when I grade. And what I grade for is not about my style. It's not about me. This class is about you and your ideas, but meeting the puzzle, the rubric criteria, okay? Homework, if I ever give it, it's very, very rare, but I do expect you to do it, and it is relevant. If you show the learning, you get the grade. And that's how I like to approach this class and basically life. You got to do the work to get paid, right? Okay. If you turn in work that is late or reassessed, it is my last priority. So I will get to it, but if you send me 5 or 6 emails because you just gave it to me 15 minutes ago and it's not updated in the grade book, I will put it at the bottom of my pile of stuff to do. Late work is my last priority. It will get done, but the people who got it done and on time, they get first dibs. All right? If you need to contact me, send me an email. I am never, ever at my desk very long. That might change a little bit now that I'm recovering from surgery, but I'm never going to get to the phone on time. So if you need to get a hold of me, you can email me. You can follow what we're doing on the Twitter account, JTMS_art, or you can find us, our art classes, on Instagram, JTMS Art. If your parents or you want to check and make sure I'm doing my job, we've got the national and California standards for visual arts. And I also adhere to the ISTE standards, the tech standards. So please take your syllabus, fold it up, and put it in your backpack. And then let's get out our art class experience survey. Now, I'm not going to wait for all your responses on this, so listen carefully, and I will show you what these symbols mean and go through the questions really quick. Then you get some time to fill this out and turn it into Ms. Lopresti for me. I can change whatever we teach based on your interests, but I have to know what they are first, okay? So up here, please circle the art materials that you like to work with the most. Pencils, paints, like acrylic paint, watercolor paint, clay. Do you like to do collage with glue and scissors? Or even the, oh geez, what's the long strips? I forgot what it's called. We've got the shredders for those too. Do you like to do digital art? Do you like to do photography? I actually taught photography for a couple of years too, so we can do that. And this is for printmaking. Circle all the ones that you like to work with the most. In the past, what's been your favorite thing about art class? In the past, what's been your most difficult part about art class? Everybody's got a story about that. It's okay. Down at the bottom, what would you like to learn in art this trimester? What is one goal you want to accomplish in this class? Think of a goal. Last question, and this is important. Is there anything else you would like me to know? Mrs. Butler, I can't stand ASMR videos. Mrs. Butler, I don't like loud classrooms. Mrs. Butler, I hate painting. I hate art. Oh my goodness. I don't like clay. Or, Mrs. Butler, I've been waiting for this class all year and I'm so happy to be here. So if there's something, or even, Mrs. Butler, I'm allergic to peanuts. Please don't eat them in front of me or spread peanut butter on the tables. Mrs. Butler, I need a couple of minutes every day to walk around. It helps me focus. This is important. I need to know. You have to tell me. That's part of you communicating. I want you also to write me a note or question on the back and then turn this into Ms. Lopresti as a group. So at your tables, you've got 6 people at every table. One person is going to be the collector today. Today, that person is going to be the person at the table who has the longest fingers. Longest fingers at the table, when everyone's done with their art class survey, collect the papers and bring them to Ms. Lopresti.